We all have secrets. What is yours? Silent Secrets Audio. Confess in the comments.
The first time the door alarm went off, his father was asleep upstairs. This anonymous confession came from a 38-year-old elevator mechanic in Thunder Bay, Ontario. He said the experience changed the way he understood fear, because the person breaking into his childhood home already had a key. His father, Dennis, had recently begun forgetting small things. A kettle left boiling. A truck parked with the driver's door open. Once, he called his oldest son by his brother's name. His mother, Carol, insisted it was getting worse. She said Dennis had started wandering outside at night. So her son installed sensors on every exterior door. He connected them to an app on his phone and placed a camera above the back entrance. Nothing hidden, nothing complicated. For the first week, there were no alerts. Then, at 2:13 on a Tuesday morning, the back door opened. He drove across town through freezing rain, expecting to find his father stumbling along the road in slippers. Instead, Dennis was asleep in bed. His mother stood in the kitchen wearing a robe, both hands wrapped around a mug. She said she had found the door open. The camera showed nothing, not darkness, not a shadow, just 11 missing seconds between the door being closed and the door standing wide open. His mother blamed the wireless connection. 2 nights later, it happened again. This time, the side door opened at 3:41. When he arrived, his younger brother, Trevor, was already there. Trevor said he had found their father near the detached garage, confused and shivering. Dennis could not remember leaving the house. There was wet snow on the hallway floor. His old work boots sat beside the door. Everything made sense, except for one detail. Dennis's socks were dry. When his son pointed that out, the room went quiet. Then Trevor laughed and said the heat vent had probably dried them. It was a weak explanation, but everyone looked exhausted, and exhausted families accept explanations they would reject in daylight. Over the next month, the incidents increased. Dennis was found holding the keys to his former trucking yard. A neighbor claimed she saw him standing beside the road after midnight. Carol began collecting medical pamphlets about memory care. Trevor started talking about power of attorney. The family owned a small freight company that Dennis had built from a single truck. It was worth more than anyone had realized. Trevor had worked there for years, but Dennis still controlled the property, the contracts, and the accounts. The older son stayed out of the business. He fixed elevators and avoided family arguments. That made him useful. Trevor began calling him after every incident, asking him to describe what he had seen. Carol encouraged him to write everything down for the doctor. He did: dates, times, missing keys, open doors, confused statements. Without understanding it, he was building a case against his own father. The truth surfaced on a Friday night in February. At 1:56, the backdoor alert appeared on his phone. He opened the live camera feed and saw the image freeze. But this time, he did not drive directly to the house. He parked half a block away and approached through the alley. The cold was sharp enough to hurt his teeth. Snow squeaked beneath his boots. From behind the garage, he saw someone cross the yard wearing his father's brown winter coat. The person moved quickly, too quickly for Dennis. He followed. The figure entered through the side door, and a few seconds later, Trevor came back outside without the coat. He was carrying Dennis's boots. Inside the house, Carol was spreading melted snow across the hallway with a towel. Neither of them saw him standing in the kitchen entrance. Trevor dropped one boot. His mother did not scream. She simply closed her eyes. They had been manufacturing evidence for nearly 3 months. Trevor's company division was deeply in debt. He had borrowed against equipment he did not legally own and needed control of the business before the lenders discovered it. Carol had agreed to help because Trevor convinced her the company would collapse otherwise. They planned to have Dennis declared incapable, transfer authority to Trevor, and sell part of the property before anyone examined the books. The staged wandering was meant to frighten Dennis into cooperating. The older son's written notes were meant to make it believable. But that was not the worst part. Dennis had known for weeks. He had found snow inside his boots one morning and noticed that his coat smelled like Trevor's cigarettes. He stayed silent because Trevor had threatened to report his older brother for stealing company funds. The documents had already been prepared. The innocent son had once been given temporary access to the business account while Dennis recovered from surgery. Trevor planned to attach his name to several transfers and make the family believe both brothers were involved. Dennis had pretended to be more confused than he was while quietly gathering bank records. He was not protecting the company. He was protecting the son who wanted nothing from it. The police investigation uncovered forged signatures, hidden loans, and nearly $200,000 in unauthorized transfers. Trevor was charged. Carol moved out before the case went to court. Dennis sold the business the following year. The man who shared the confession said his father's memory really did decline later. Some days, Dennis forgot the entire investigation. But he never forgot the night his oldest son entered the kitchen and caught them. Whenever he remembered it, he repeated the same sentence. "I knew you'd check the door yourself." For years, his son thought that was gratitude. Now he hears it differently. His father had been surrounded by people who claimed they were protecting him. In the end, he trusted only the one person willing to stand outside in the cold and watch what his family did when they thought no one was looking.